It's a little hazy. Hold on. That's worse. Mark, can you bring me a paper towel, please? With a little Windex on it. It looks like a 70s porn with this star lighting going right now. Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, I'm Steve. Mark's right over here.
Need a paper towel?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Thank you. Just a little wet?
Oh, you want it wet?
Yeah.
Oh,
A little Windex or something on it if we have it. So, thank you all for joining. I'm Steve. That's Mark, cleaning up the camera. And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Welcome back. Yes, we're addressing that. It'll just be a second. I was rushing around to get here. And then the next thing I knew, like, this is some Foodie Beauty filter shit I'm looking at right now.
Oh, you have to clean the filter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just have to clean it off. Sorry, guys. Give me a second.
We just got in!
Okay, that's better. I mean, I know I sparkle naturally, obviously, but yeah, that looks a little bit better. It is festive. Welcome everyone. This is a holiday weekend for a lot of people, so thank you for joining us this evening. Today we are going to catch up with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, big beautiful Chantal, Miriam. They're called aliases, really, but Grateful, hello, Beth, hello, Summer, hello. So, do excuse for anyone asks, I was trying to make yesterday's macaroons, and open the can, and sliced my knuckle open. The kind where I had to, like, wrap it all night. It could have used a stitch, probably, but it wasn't that bad. Hey, fabulous. And, but it was dripping, like, blood. So I had to go decontaminate all the stuff, because it was dripping, and then throw a glove on for the rest of the video to kind of cover that up. So that's what I've been doing since coffee break. How are y'all? Gearing up. People are either excited or dread, usually this time of year. So, I'm here on time. Merry Christmas, Steve and Mark. Your card's in the mail. I fell behind. Thank you so much for the super chat, Annie. Cards are working on. We have some still coming in. We went to the P.O. box yesterday. We have some more going out. Also, while we're here in the beginning, which is where most people are, you still have time to enter to win the next giveaway, which was actually right here. My mom made a blanket. And it'll be the giveaway to our next one. You have to go to yesterday's video and comment below, and that'll enter you in. That's the URL we'll pull from for the comment picker. So that's all holidays and fun stuff. So let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Fair lady, Chantal. So just to give an overview of since we've last checked in, she's home she's in Canada. Sala's home. She's in Canada. So she has a little bit of hometown tour that she gives, an idea for some eating her way across Ottawa that she came up with, because everyone's been asking her to eat herself to death in her car. I mean, she's just giving the people what they want. So, let's see, that Peetz's name keeps coming through here and there. And she went to the ER again, because it wouldn't be 2 weeks in a new environment without a trip to the ER. I have an opinion, strong one, about using the ER. I was a high-end user of medical services. I can tell you how many times it took me to go to rehab 6 times. I better damn well make it worth it for the people who paid. But that's like acknowledging that there's other people in the world aside from me, you know? I'm sorry, Sarah, that sounds awful. That sounds just awful. So with her ERBs, she likes to get the kind of attention of a person who's, sick. And weight loss surgery, or weight loss stories, if we can do that. Why is she in Canada getting it? Why couldn't she get it in Kuwait? How did she not know that it was going to take 2 to 3 years to get a doctor? You can't live in the ER. The question was, she kicked out of Kuwait. Did she leave on her own? And, where was the next one of that? Oh yeah, 0.5, it's all her fault. So, starting off with the hometown, not the cheese again, Sandra, not the cheese, the hometown diaries. So she's out for a drive, and we're picking up since like Wednesday. She's out for a drive, now she's back in Canada, and she always would like to go for drives. 2 restaurants, in circles, 2 allegedly unkind people that she stalked a relationship with, that kind of thing. So she was out doing a little bit of driving. Whoopee-woo. What it turned into is her wanting to go out and get her favorite snacks for the last time. Kind of like fast food funeral, but not. More like, well, what did she get? She got a candy bar. She went out for Chinese for lunch, to a buffet that was very empty. So it's not just in Kuwait where they go to empty restaurants. I can appreciate she wants to find a place that's not so crowded. I'm a little congested, contrast, thank you. Just a hair. Um, she would go to places that were empty when they were in Kuwait. So then it seems like I would think if I was filming myself eat, I have a big problem with filming in public. Like I don't like it, and I don't like to drive and film. I wouldn't do it again. I don't think it's a good idea. I try to discourage Mark from doing it if we make car videos, which you'll see shortly because we're gonna go drive some around and look at Christmas lights tomorrow and then post it for Christmas Eve. Um, but the tour she's doing is basically this was my favorite place to eat. This had this. All of her memories revolve around food. You know, it's like, talk, what are you into food? It's like someone who's into CrossFit or someone who's, vegan. How do you know? Don't worry, they'll fucking tell you. That's how y'all know. So she's touring these as she's traveling around at the moment and to see how things have changed. She wasn't gone for like 20 years. It reminded me, I don't know if y'all watch Family Guy. It might have been Family Guy or Simpsons. And they were doing a spoof on 90210. I think if you're in our age group, you might remember the show. And Andrea was, of course, like 10 years older than the rest of them. And the joke they had said with her looking out the window while they're talking is, "This used to be all orange groves." That's how it sounds like when Foodie's doing it to me. She's almost outgrown sitting in the car as well. You outgrow clothes, you outgrow exes. Usually people don't outgrow cars. Especially if it's not like you ever watch the blooper reels that will have like a big gigunda guy stuffed into a little European sports car and then they can't get his ass out of it. That's how I feel it's going to go for her. I remember when Amberlynn Reed conceded that she almost got stuck getting out of the shower one time. And that was that's a big disclosure. That lets you know that she's a real person because she tells you real personal stuff that's very vulnerable. She made money off of it, I'm sure. I'm expecting. But it'll give you a little bit of disclosure. There's a certain group in the audience, and I'm maybe part of them sometimes, that thinks like, look, you're a dirtbag. You're not nice to people. You're really selfish. You use animals for your convenience. That's not okay. And if something bad happens to you, why shouldn't I laugh? If someone who I think is not contributing anything to the world has something bad happen to them, what do we do? And when the closest thing to killing her is her, what the hell are you supposed to do? I can probably appreciate her family going, it's been years. It's been 40 years of this, Chantal. Deal with it or don't. But stop hanging it out there. Get people worried. Get their hopes up. We're talking the people that care about Chantal, not the rest. I don't not care about her, but I don't know her personally. I'm not invested in her. I'm just doing commentary. YouTube likes commentary. There's a comment section underneath our videos, unless we have dirty diapers and want to shut them off. Or you're being trolled. That's possibly okay too. So, I don't know. Sophia, hello. Janet, hello. She looks ready to pop. She does. Speaking of, she goes to the emergency room. So we're going to go to the ER, okay? So she has a few medical things all done in one day. People recall that her one pupil was dilating and the other one wasn't, which of course she Googled and said it was nothing. It only happens on camera. If it happens at all, asymmetric pupils, unless you know you're taking a medicine that causes it or you have a health condition that causes it, and Chantal has given her case for being an irresponsible health consumer. She doesn't want to look things up because they might scare her and make her worry. You're 40. So sure, you're scared, but at this point, you're supposed to be able to do it anyway. This is the part of being a grown-up, being in my case, a man, all that kind of stuff. I don't believe she hulked the elevator but can't walk. I don't buy it at all. Pry the doors to the elevator open. Some days she's too lazy for utensils. And she's gonna go all fucking, what is her name? I forget. Terminator 2, that's what I'm thinking. Like she's breaking out of this Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2. That's how she describes it. But what I picture is her very real fear that she's too heavy for the elevator. And is that shaming? Should they make elevators special ones for fat people? It's already an accommodation to a disability. How much more easy does it need to be? Especially for someone on 2 feet. I mean, if she had a set of wheels, I'd have very different input about what she needs and what she gets. Now, I can't talk to Canada and its attention to disability, but most things in the North are a touch friendlier and a bit more expensive than they are here. So, the T-Rex arms, that's why I was concerned when she had to give a urine specimen. Now, everyone explained to me what a hat was, which I never, now I want to work into conversations, to be able to catch whatever sample was needed. Nevertheless, because her stomach is so far out of her arm, she really can't. She really can't. So that's tough. And keeping clean and then moving around now. Who's been putting her socks on? Because she wasn't any bigger than she was now. According to her, or she's never been any bigger than this. Why did she need one person to put her socks on at what she's claiming is a lower weight? And then at her high weight now, no, she doesn't need it anymore. I think she just doesn't change her socks. Or carries different perception. Things like deodorant aren't as common. Some places it's not part of the culture. Some places people shave rather than do this. But in all places, people wash their socks, I think. So it's the only part of the shower that probably gets wet if you run it and it'll fill up in the bottom. I just don't know why I don't know. So one of the kinds of attention she likes to get is for being sick, which is why we go to the ER. Not for the cheese this time. She had an issue with her eye. They got it dilated. She needed to go for further. She wanted to go and get checked out. She doesn't have a primary doctor, and the wait list has been quoted as years to get one, to get the referral to get weight loss surgery. Now, I was talking with a friend last night, and it's like, you know what? Last time she cut the line. She went to the ER, and they fast-tracked her into the weight loss program, probably because of what she said about her weight and what she wants to do to herself because of it. And so she got to skip the line. I don't know if she understands she's not going to skip over thousands of people because after playing, putting your head over the edge of the cliff, over the abyss, and just making faces, put up or shut up. You know, her skin needs scrub. She needs a full once over, and she doesn't have to wait. You know, I'm sure that there's hygienics in the Western world, people that do massage and things like that. So, Ozempic is a cure. This, like, weight loss surgery is a cure. For long-term success, like, let's talk. I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of people get down to their goal weight, but 5 years out, like the folks on 600-pound life, there's a few that got down to, like, in normal weight, got their skin chopped off, and restarted their life. Other people have lost a few 100 pounds and then gained so much back they don't want to do anything. So, we'll see, Sarah, if your stomach is shrinking and it's your intention and it's healthy, then that's good. Then that's good. Whatever weight, you can be whatever weight you want as long as you're healthy. And that statement shouldn't get butchered to include people in the 400-pound, 5-foot-tall mark. You know, you have more risk factors than, she has more risk factors than the rest of us. She never said what her eye doctor said about, no, she just said it happened. And then the bitch drove, which you're not supposed to. I remember this because I'm trying to schedule an eye appointment when Mark could come with me. Because I've been wearing glasses since I was 8, so I've been dilated before, and you can't see very well. Even if you throw on some sunglasses, it shows. It shows. So yeah, she didn't follow up with what could be the cause of that. And then we're in the emergency room, and she's already going down the checklist of, okay, I'll be needing to do this. I guess I don't need to do a sleep study because I have a CPAP already. She, like, decides the course of her treatment. She thinks she knows what she needs. And then she speaks to someone who looked other places other than TikTok. They might have looked at Harvard. They might have, you know, some other higher institution of education where they would have probably taken in context that they could see a little bit further down. But I don't see Chantal as being able to even look down the road 2 years. The Ozempic she was getting was working, but her biggest fix is feeding her hungry stomach. And if you kill her appetite, who is she? Who's Foodie Beauty without food? She's either losing weight and has to deal with food. She's mukbanging and has to deal with food. She's gaining weight and she has to deal with this food. It's never been a weight loss channel. It's always just been a person who should probably deal in weight loss channel, you know. It's the false starts all the time. People get sick of that. That's why only like a couple family members come to see every so often. Not you specifically, Chantal, but people get sick of it, you know. She can't see her feet. How the hell could she read the scale? You know, put her on an old $10 scale from Target with the dial. It's hard to fuck with, and if you try to do it, it's obvious to everybody, keeping half a foot off the scale. Like, it matters to me if you're 40 pounds heavier. It's not like I have to carry it. You do. So the ERBs brings her attention that she likes. It brings attention to things like she has no GP. You'd almost think she was out of the country and not paying any taxes or being involved in the services, and then just showed up. They did have her file at the ER. It's probably thick. So to that end, things were actually pretty good. And she was able to go and get, not a diagnosis, really, as I'm looking at it. Her sugar was in the 400 something when she got it. And a woman with diabetes, and diabetes can have pretty dangerous side effects, how could she not have a GP? Like, she knew the wait was long. She knew the waits were long before 3 years ago, when she was still with BB, when they were just getting in the villa. She knew how long it was gonna take her to wait. Did she conveniently forget long enough to get on a plane? Oh, by the way, too fat to stay in Kuwait, and I'm almost too fat to stay in Canada. They don't want to pay for it either. This is what they talked about with her being a burden on the systems in Kuwait. All these trips, everywhere she went in the last year, 2 weeks there, she went to the ER. We're in ER in Thailand. We're in the ER here. You know, she's seen more ERs than most people have, I think. Not because other people don't have illnesses, but other people don't wait till it's an emergency or don't want the inconvenience of having to wait for an appointment like everybody else. So if you're in the ER long enough to get bored and want to go home, you're not that fucking sick. The kind of things she would probably need to be concerned about, her blood sugar and the other stuff, I don't think she said she wasn't taking the medicine they gave her in Kuwait, which is fine. I would agree if she was going to be, this side of the pond for a while, she should have her own doctor and such, that begins. But she stopped taking the medicine. She stopped taking the medicine because it hurt her stomach. She better hope that they sell prosthetic feet on Wish, because it's not looking good. And it's no own to the rest of us. My God. I was thinking how Chantal's expenses are, because she invests, according to her, into the channel. She'll buy a $40 meal and make $120 off of it, and that's an investment. She doesn't have long-term investment, minded goals, especially financially. I mean, I can't believe someone who would make what she makes lives paycheck to paycheck. But when you buy as much food as she does, you can kind of see where it's digging in. My drinking habit was less expensive than her food habit. Much less expensive. More immediately dangerous to other people, though. So, I mean, intoxicated people in many conditions, you don't want them roaming around. Behavior can be unruly, blah, 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 blah. Eating, what is she doing? Clogging up traffic at Burger King. So there's not as much of a glare cast to it. But to decide I'm going to eat everything I want, and when I'm ready, when you're ready, the 2-year clock can start. 2 years from now, how much weight could a person who's 400 pounds safely lose in 2 years? I'm thinking a couple hundred, maybe. If you're losing 8 to 10 pounds a month. So, oh good, Mick, you got the card? Some of y'all, if you've sent cards, please and thank you. We got your cards. We're sending some out as we go along. So some went out today, some went out yesterday, and then they'll probably go another batch out. But with the holiday, they might be holiday cards. I don't diss her for not wanting metformin. I couldn't take it in several trips. But if she had a GB, she'd be... Exactly. There's no regular maintenance. Each doctor's picking up cold with no medical history. I mean, at the ER there it is because they have her medical history. But otherwise, they don't know what she's... 208 if they lose 2 pounds a week every week for 2 years. Thank you, Santiago. It is possible. What's the alternative? Wait 2 more years? Pray that 366 holds out and the limbs? Pay for it. For someone who could spend that much money, pay for it. Go get it. I mean, it's free in the place you were born. It's not really home anymore, because home is where Sala is. And Sala showed off the cats within the last week, so apparently the cats are okay. Cat, Julia, and then the other one. Though, who knows when it was filmed? I mean, who filmed it? He was in the... I don't know. I didn't... At any rate. So if she was not following up with any of the care, and she doesn't, she still manages to be surprised that her health isn't going very well. The cat is still not fixed. Of course not. She comes first. She was there with that cat, and it was too hot, too inconvenient to do something, because the cat can't do anything for her. So why should we do anything for it? BBJ will get French Fry Girl's goat. So of course, she'll spend all the time in the world getting back a cat that she wants for spite and ditching the next one. I mean, where do we move next? I'm surprised there's not one running around Thailand. So if she wants to, it doesn't look good on top of someone who doesn't treat animals well. Documented. I didn't say the word abuse, but we all saw. Sal was just going to put it outside. I don't think Sal was going to take care of a cat at all. He didn't want one. It probably kept her busy, thought it would shut her up, so he gave her one. They will auto-assign you if you have a PPO. I'm going to go into heat. It's going to go into heat again. Yeah. It's not going to stay. They don't respect things that... Chantal sees people and animals in terms of usefulness. What will it say about me to other people if I have pets? Well, what it says to other people if you have poorly kept pets is that you're a monster. Generally. And the fact that animal control was there a few times doesn't really help much. This is incidentally the topic she seems to trip on. The cats, when she needs a video, she needs a rage, she'll come off alive, where she said she was tired and bored the whole time. We had one just earlier. And when she starts to yawn and look tired, I've been watching her for years too, Megs. Whenever the chat is asking reasonable, pointed questions about something that she's being unnecessarily dodgy about, she starts yawning at the oh, I'm so tired. I only had 5 Starbucks Frappuccinos this morning. So tired. I got up at the crack of noon. She had a hard time scheduling her mental health, among other appointments, because, most people work earlier in the day. So if she doesn't care enough to look after, why would Sala think that she would care about his health if she barely cares about hers? I don't know if she'll secure a place to stay. I'm pretty sure she's talking with Peetz. And Peetz is such a sad sack that he would go along with it again. I absolutely believe he'd go along with it again. And that's not reassuring for him. She make her own choices. She can afford to live halfway around the globe if she wants. So, tap back to Dead at the 70s porn. It's got that kind of vibe to it. Studio 54, baby. So, liking the attention you get for being sick. Now, there's the old, if you've ever watched a Lifetime movie, you've heard of the diagnosis or the Munchausen by proxy, in which someone hurts another person. It's the one you usually see as mother and child, hurting the child in order to gain sympathy and attention for herself. So, no, she shouldn't have another cat. Absolutely should not get another cat. But going back as far as I can recall, BB, the trip to the ER, for whatever reason, is always meant to reset the clock on some troubled relationship. Like when her and BB were probably on their way out a little bit, all of a sudden she overdoses on cheese and has to go to the hospital. People checking on her when she's in the ER, whether it's beezers, family, people who acknowledge it, that to her is proof that you care. It's proof of love. And so she'll put herself in precarious situations and be like, don't you care? Even though she's treated people the whole way through for years. When she thinks she might be able to be the object of pity, she goes full on with it too. People have a really hard time being sympathetic to someone who's exacerbating their own condition. It's why people, there's people that advocate that people with certain illnesses are beyond treatment. Just let the chips fall how it may. Why dump so much money into another person? Why? Bad money, bad investment. Good investment, Popeyes, bad investment, gastric bypass. If it was $100,000, she could have saved it by now. Yeah, maybe bought herself a place in line further out. I don't know. But the attention she gets for being sick is really what makes her thrive. I do think so. And especially when she was she'd dip in and out when it gets tight in the chat, and there's always a selfie. The bitch can't go to the hospital without taking a picture of herself, because then she'll tell a story and people say they don't believe it. She wants that. She wants that more than anything. That's in the tens of thousands of views. Trying to keep a secret, she always does. It makes people, I gotta see what happens. I believe, yes, beautiful regret that she is perhaps at the point of helping. And it's not because I've seen sicker people physically than Chantal turn it around. I've seen a few mentally who turn it around. But if she's not fat, she's nothing. Without food, she has no identity. What is Chantal even like anymore if she's not eating or fighting? Do you have any interests? See any movies? Read a book or two? Have coffee with friends? Send gifts to beezers. What have we been doing this whole time? What have we been doing? And the cameos? I mean, you might as well be straight up honest if you're just going to ask for money and say, I need it. Can you give it to me? I don't know. I'm sure they're still members. Nobody got their postcards. I'm sure of that. And the only fans I was even a member of for a hot minute, well, had to be a month, logged on to see what the deal was. 3 pictures, nothing else. So there is no rock bottom for her. To be at rock bottom, you have to be capable of self-reflection. She's not. She's not. And people that hold the mirror up to her, the people that piss her off are the people like her. Usually. She usually can't see the glaring similarities between her and some of the people she doesn't like. When she points out hypocrisy, it's always because she's done the same thing herself and then has a way to explain out of it. Boring, Janet? We're getting to boring. Because she did all this before. Now, when she moves in with Peetz or gets a new place, there'll be a whole bunch of new things to lie about. So we'll probably get some more videos then. But she's been in and out just even the last couple days. And these are the sweet months to make money. So if she's not on, I get the feeling that, like, she's not allowed. Even if it was free, she's addicted to the attention. She would still go live. She'd still hang out. It still matters to her. 90,000 plus, almost 100,000 is the goal, right? You can buy your way there. No one will know but us. For views. It's all for views. It's all for views. And who was the last person, now that families intervene and come to the ER and pick her up at the airport, when's the last time she was there for someone? Don't say grandma. Grandma's been dead a while. Well, rest in peace. And I know Chantal helped out with her grandma to some degree. Though with the time she went over to help with her mom with her grandma, she slept on the couch and left in the middle of the night because what help was she providing? She was present, I guess, moral support, but just dropped in to say Merry Christmas and thank you for the... No problem. Text Voodoo. Thank you. Thank you, thank you for everyone who's here. You know, I didn't earn, your attention. You decided to share it. So I'll share with you what I got. So being kicked out of Kuwait, was she kicked out? Was she too fat? Was she leave on her own? Did the wind start blowing another direction that it might not be a good idea to be in her position in that country at that time? For whatever reason, she got on a plane super fast and found her way home. And one of the stupider things she did was, well, I hate to say it because she had to, but fly. Long distance flying for someone with a history of clots and her legs were swollen. Does she think these things just improve over time? Like, when you have something like diabetes, if it's not going well, the consequences escalate. They don't, hit a point where they taper off and it's like, oh, good, I stopped blacking out anymore. Oh, I don't need this anymore. People make changes in their treatment with, diet, exercise, and maybe need different or no medication, especially if it's type 2, that finds its way down. But Teflon Donna, nothing's going to take her out. Nothing's going to take her out. So, and she's only going to live long enough to spite the rest of us. Because I'm obsessed with her, totally. So, weight loss out of Kuwait, I don't know. And I mean, she is relatively private about a lot of her stuff, but then streams in the emergency room, so I have a hard time, again, putting those kind of things together and trying to make sense of them. So, I don't know. Had dental surgery this week, going into Christmas. That sucks. You're not supposed to border hop on a visitor's visa like she did either. Well, she's not the smartest person in the world, but just the smartest one in this room. Any room she's in, she thinks she's the smartest one. It's like guys that think that they're tough shit. I could beat any guy in this room. Sure you could, honey. Sure you could. You're just waiting. That's people who are like, I could fight any man in this bar. No one wants to fight with you so you can show off that you think you're a killer. Boo, boo, boo. Go have a Zima. Call your mom. At any rate. So, projections? I don't know that I have too many going forth, actually, at this point. Thanks, Grateful. It's a holiday season. The room filled up a little bit again. If you're enjoying the holidays, happy holidays. If you're not, happy weekend. You can see we're doing Christmas here. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining. There was a little bit of a lull in content this week. There wasn't as much to look at. She did do a live, and during the live explained how everyone is not helping her correctly deal with her diabetes. I think the Zima would be for Sala, probably. Sala's sticking up for her now. So he's there, and then she types things into the chat, and then copies and pastes them, and he does too. And then it sounds like listening to an automated system while he recants, like, says everything out loud. It's not interesting. Having your husband, every freaking bite, every chew is another day you're away from Sala, and she doesn't give a fuck. Every single day, she puts it further and further away, and then insists that, you know, it's the love of her life, and she needs this and that. If she's matching his level of enthusiasm, she ain't going back. She ain't going back. He might have had a few more weeks on his contract to make some videos, but you manifested a new vlog from Foodie. Oh, lovely, lovely. So, Zima, maybe a little Zima. Zima was one of my first drugs. Her Kia seat till smells fresh. I'm glad she had taken it to get handled. I can appreciate, though, people are said, like, you know, unless her car is unsafe to drive, if it's gone through a mechanic and got the repairs, if she wants to dump, like, look, I had a Plymouth Horizon hatchback, 89, the kind that Son of Sam drove, and I didn't exactly drive it as carefully as I could have. I was hard on the brakes. I was hard on every part of it. By the time it needed brakes, the brakes were like $500-600. The car's blue book value at that age and in the condition it was in was not even that much money. Not even that much money. So, I don't know. But driving the Kia into the ground, I could appreciate that because I did the same. You know, my car didn't owe me a dime. Actually, the way it ended up happening is the car officially died, parked in the street when I lived in Center City in Philadelphia. And one of the neighbors called and deemed it abandoned. They towed it and turned it into a cube. I had a pair of Timbs in the back seat. I was a little upset after the fact. And they just mailed the tags back up this way. So, you know, but I can appreciate it. I trash vehicles, but only over use over time. Like things like getting oil changes and fluids checked, or if it was going to sit for a year in the subarctic, that maybe, you know, Sala's pretty one in that relationship. Yeah, he doesn't bump purses. He doesn't want to deal with too many egos. The first time he said, fix your hijab, and I looked at her, I thought, man, is she like taken off guard or scared? And it was interesting, and it has been interesting over the year, watching her life change. What changed and what didn't since she first arrived there. You know, certainly her dress has changed, her clothes have changed. Every cough out of your car, me too, Julia, just right into the ground, drove it right into the ground. And then, you know, I've always had used cars for the most part. Life has been expensive periodically. They'd boot Santa if you park. Yes, they do. Well, there's parking wars. That show on TV is in Philly. They're mean as shit, too. I've had to go to those places when I fucked my car up, parked on the street, got it towed. It was usually a consequence of drinking. And then the next day, with a hangover, take a $45 cab ride to South Philly to get my car out of the impound lot, only to find out I didn't have the insurance. I had insurance, but I didn't have it with me, and I didn't have all the documents. And then had to pay, too, to get the boot off, and then make a payment plan on the fines. My mother was convinced that someone from Philadelphia was going to show up and arrest her because car was registered in her name. So, yeah. But, so it goes. But the other question people came up with, because Peetz has come up lately, or Peetz is back on, I think, people's radar, keeping an eye on what he's doing. And I don't think Peetz is 100% sold on this idea that I think a lot of people have, that they're going to just move back in together. I think it looks easy. Chantal likes easy. You know, she can wrap Peetz up again like this. It'd be okay. Any given time, if Chantal said, Peetz, it's you, I've wanted all this time, he would turn around and marry her. So, but he's okay to be the sad sack sidecar. And that's him. You know, that's okay. And what's weird is that he seems rather happy in his position as her sidekick. You know, like Gilligan, the skipper, that kind of thing. And he functions better with her pushing around, like with her pushing him to do this and that. He's more active than anything else. Pete, let's go to the comic book store. And they used to go, remember when he had interests and she was nice? And he would go get comic books and she would go around and she had other friends beside Peetz. Those days are long gone. I would wonder with Chantal. I'm sure her income is better than it was 6 years ago, but how's her social life? How's her life with her family? How much of a trade-off is it worth? I mean, she might still be a selfish nightmare if she was, fry girl at McDonald's too. It doesn't mean that she has to, but what makes her feel superior, I think, a lot of the time, is that she has a pretty generous income. So there were friends as such. I mean, Peetz was an ex, but same thing. I could see it being platonic, but I don't think Salah should be too cozy if he thinks it's his wife, because she got blasted and made out with Peetz like 2 weeks before she left or something. He was laying on the couch. She comes over. She lays one on him. She didn't ask permission. There was no safe word. Just did it. Just did it. So, stomach hurts because it's continuously full. Yeah, the medication, she said, was hurting her stomach. That the doctor who had prescribed it, the one who was in Kuwait. But that she didn't want to take it back in the States. I can appreciate. I've taken a lot of meds. Don't look surprised. And some of them don't sit with you very well at all. Sometimes they do make you sick. The other night, full disclosure, I have to take my meds with food. One of them, my antipsychotic that I have to take with food. So it stays in the gut longer, and it has to be with a little bit of fatty food so it absorbs correctly. I hadn't been doing that for a while. I just thought, well, as long as I take it, what's the difference? How do I get to decide I know better? Yeah. She medicated her nausea with weed. So if she goes back on Ozempic, she's going to start smoking again. Using it medicinally, per her. She thinks gas pain is hunger pain. I wonder if she's ever been really authentically hungry. Like, not feel hungry, not hungry in the head, but like actual stomach growling hungry. Because what gets off, I think, a person on eating is what they get off of any drug that they abuse. You're trying to chase that first high. Once upon a time, Chantal had a great binge, and she felt like $1,000 after. And she continues to try to do that, and do it, and get the same feeling. But it doesn't. When you're 120 pounds, eat a whole pizza, it's like, oh, that's probably a bad idea, but whatever. When you're a 400-pound diabetic, thinking that treating themselves poorly is going to somehow hurt the people who talk shit, it's not hurting anybody to do it. And some of us actually give half of a shit about how this turns out for her. I've seen sicker people than Chantal get better. I've rarely seen such an asshole change their attitude and rejoin the world. But I think if she had come around nice, worldly, she was gone for a year, I'd be curious to think what her family saw that was so different. Because if we've watched it all the way along, the whole entire time, it's like that boiling a frog thing. You put it in cold water, it doesn't notice when the water's heating up, and that kind of thing. Yes, Ashley, that's correct. No interests, hobbies, or anything outside food and eating. Now, that's obsession. That's obsession. You can't do anything. When I'm not eating, I'm looking at pictures of food. When I'm not looking at pictures of food, I'm picking out restaurants to order from tomorrow. I'm scrolling through DoorDash. If I look at my Uber Eats long enough, I'll think of something I want to eat, probably. But it doesn't work. Doesn't work. And even for me at this point, I've had to give up intermittent fasting for the bulk of it. I was doing OMAD, so I had to give up OMAD because I need to eat with the medication before I go to bed. If I don't, it doesn't work well. And to pull that point back, the other night I took a bunch of it, forgot to eat something with it, and was very sick for the next 20 minutes and proceeded to discharge the stuff I had taken, which is a stupid mistake. It was stupid. I know better. I just got distracted with what I was doing. So there's consequences, and I wouldn't want one that made me that sick all the time. Mark has RA. I don't know what condition Chantal has. Chronic fatigue, but without the syndrome. So she's just tired a lot. The syndrome has a whole different set of symptoms and complications that go with it. So I don't know. Time to vape. Vape break. We're at about the 40-minute mark, so do give me a second. Is anybody else live right now? Last week I was on for a little bit, and then Alex came on, and I was like, well, Alex, random bit of trivia. David Beckham likes Amberlynn Reed. Does express echoes. Oh, wow, he did Lego. Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Something now. Before. Good for him. Good for him. Pete's lost interest in his hobbies. They all lost interest in everything. And when she started hanging out stoned, he didn't want to be around her when she was that high all the time. So he'd live like in his room with Timbit. And so her cats could roam the house. Timbit had to be secured. And it just completely took advantage of him all the time. And if he says he doesn't care, I guess he doesn't care. So I'm not judging. I'm just fascinated that someone would accept that level of servitude, essentially. Because it's going to go back to all the stuff she wouldn't do for herself before. Peetz, can you remold the floor because the chair broke down next to the island? Like, all the damage that was left there. And Peetz walks right back into it. I don't really care how he feels. He got burnt once. If he wants to go do it again, that's on him. That's on him. He needs another place to live, so if they're using each other, what are friends for? Right? That's the closest thing you have to a friend. An ex that you guilt into living with you. And a husband. That I'm not sure how that's going to shake out. Remember when Natter came over and then he wouldn't because Peetz was there, and then she was sleeping on the couch to try to keep Natter happy because they can't sleep on the same floor as another man. All that other kind of bullshit. Total bullshit. And then from that we go into an abaya. You know, I don't... We'll see. We'll see coming back. She's good at making people feel guilty for having boundaries. Yes, that is an excellent way to put that. Excellent way. She started her community post. She starts every community post about haters. Can you believe they bully obese women? They don't. It's just you. No one's on, you know, other people's sites going after them and making... It's you. Now, what do you think's different about you than the other big girls? Could it be your attitude? Just saying. So, I mean, I don't usually go out of my way to do it, but it's if she's going to present her life and her weight and her food as her channel, what the fuck else am I supposed to comment on? If not her weight. She doesn't talk about anything else or do anything else. She just eats, chews, looks at things to buy, gets herself into plans, quits them halfway through, leaves the wreckage for her ex, left Sala, here's your cat, here's this, here's that, here's that. I'm sure she had a good month, because November's a good month, so I imagine she's looking at a little bit of money right now, so travel a hoe. If that means that she's going to visit anywhere or he's going to visit her, I don't know. Not feeling hungry probably scares her because she doesn't know what to do. Yeah, full is safe. Full is safe. I've had food issues, I get it. I've been obese, I've been too skinny for my own good, and when food is your fix too, everybody can tell. The OG mean girl, that personality is repellent. You treat everyone like crap. We're just calling it as we see it. I'm inclined to agree that people can issue with her. It would be very easy for her to win sympathy and say they pick on me because I'm fat. How could you pick on the poor fat girl? She did breaking and entering and then stalking the next guy. Like, she's not as white as snow. You know, don't buy the low BMI voice. It's not how she is. Not saying she couldn't turn it around. She could. But we've seen, I think, in a lot of reality TV, unfortunately, and this is as close to that as it is anything, I suppose, her not being able to... She can't deal with, like, responsibility. Even if it's in her own best interest. She's too lazy. She can't be bothered. She can't book an appointment. Now, if 2 years ago she booked an appointment, I'll never get there. In the meantime, she could have traveled the world and do all the stuff she did and then fly back and get her appointment. So it's going to be 2 years from now anyway. So make the appointment. She can't remember things week to week. She was missing phone appointments. They didn't call to remind her she had an appointment, so she didn't go. This faking of medical stuff, too. I mean, she likes the I'm sick, everyone feel bad for me vibe, but also the, make a whole video about how sick I am. Next video, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't feel like it. I have the right to change my mind and not say what I don't want to say. Of course you do, but for people to be put off and annoyed and mention it, unfortunately, I hate to say, like, hate the, what do people say? Hate the game, not the player. So, the pinky. Put out my little sore over here, my beauty mark sore that I hit with a pipe. So going forward, into next week, what do we see? Well, there's a holiday. So there'll probably be some Merry Christmas to all of you, except French Fried Girl, who treats my cat so poorly, and I will be coming and filing charges Christmas Day. And I hope that the look on your face is ready to shut up. Get going. Get going. She doesn't have as many subscribers, but she could buy and sell you. That's gotta burn. That's gotta burn that your biggest nemesis at the moment is making twice the money you are on your own content. What that means is that they'd rather hear about Chantal from her than from Chantal. Sorry. There's a lot of reasons people might not want to watch it right on her channel. I know as many people that don't watch Chantal at all, but they keep up on like Reddit and other places just to get some of the information, some snapshots of things that maybe went by a lot of people, but they caught, like things like that. So going into the week with a holiday, now what's going to happen? She's going to eat. It's Christmas. I've been away for a year. So after that, we go into New Year's, at which point I expect she will be intoxicated on New Year's. By what, I don't know. I don't think she'll say jet lag, but she's good for a good drunk once or twice a year, and she's been going for a year without anything than that. Chantal through Sala is making her reactors famous. Oh my god, she doesn't get it. You know, what is it? The Streisand effect? Is that the right thing? When by trying to draw attention away from something, you inadvertently draw a shit more ton of attention to it. So, and if it's open season on, that, why do we edit comment sections? Why do we disable thumbs up, thumbs down? Why wouldn't you want a viewer to know the state of your channel before they even clicked on a video? When I look at a channel and I see the number of subs, I like small channels myself, but watching her do... The smaller channels are a little more nice. I don't know. And they're not all reaction channels, but I like channels usually in the 0 to 50,000 range. If I'm going to bed, I'll put on some paranormal channel, which has like 3 gajillion views on it, and just let the playlist run. So, it depends. She doesn't have to show that her hair hasn't grown back. The poor dear. Bald is so sad. Now again, she's part and parcel with a lot of her issues. I don't want to say I miss the hair fibers, but the hair fibers were less embarrassing of a look than a hijab. And no one's going to say anything about it. It's my religion, so say something about the hijab, how it's not the same as hair. Out of respect for me as a Muslim, I need to wear this. I am a married woman. See the ring? I don't know. But, we'll see. We'll see. My predictions, I'll give you my predictions. I do think Peetz will be back on the scene. I suspect they're already in communication. And that she might pop back up with a impulsive new purchase. She said it was all impulsive, right, that she came back to Canada. I missed my family, I missed this, I missed that. Your choice came at a really interesting time. Came at a very interesting time. The way you chose to find your way out. But, I'd be very upset leaving Mark halfway around the world. Especially if the only thing I would have had to do to stay there was not be fat. I mean, she had a year. She could have lost 100+ pounds in a year, a person her size. From the day she got there till the day she flew away. She did nothing. She got worse. She got worse. And so if she doesn't give a shit, why does she get her heart broken about people who comment on it? And if she thinks that because she's overweight, that's the only reason people don't like her, she's trying to rally a fat mob behind her of plus size, body positive, on the wrong side of things. I don't mind body positivity, but it's got limits. If someone is so beautiful that but it looks like they have to get a limb cut off because they're so sick also, it's hard for me to go, yeah, be yourself. Especially if you've found yourself in a position where you've chosen food over a lot of other things. You chose food over Sala. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to be back here. 2 years to see a doctor, because 2 years ago, when you thought about it, you didn't get on a list. Your appointment could be tomorrow. If the first time you thought of this, you followed through with this. But follow through, no hate, Chantal, is not your strong suit. No hate at all, but it's not. I know plenty of other people that do it. It's not a crime against humanity, but it fucks up people's perception of us when we say we change our mind all the time. It invites people to call us liars and hypocrites as well. So to the extent that it flies out of her mouth, she feels a little bit herself. she types the what about part. She never says that anyone's wrong about her. She just says what about. So it's not that she's better than anyone else. It's that she thinks she's scum and so is everyone else. I guess. So, I don't know. It'll be Peetz. Christmas with family. It's Christmas time. She's here. Probably. I don't think we'll see anything filmed. I don't think her parents are going to let her within 50 feet of their property if she has her phone on her. They're going to make her check it at the gate. It's an addiction and deep issue that causes people to gain so much weight. Something must be healed. Correct. And again, it's another one of those things that's a very positive thing, but if taken the wrong way, I love myself just the way I am. Eat. No one says you should hate yourself, but what if all this self-love is killing you? If you're nourishing yourself with a food addiction, you're not going to suddenly get better. It's only going to escalate. It's only going to increase until something drastic, something changes her mind. Major medical event, I gotta say, won't do it. They could take her left foot off and she'll still go to a buffet and talk about how someone stole her cat. Like, her priorities are way the fuck off. And when someone's priorities are that off in one area of your life, often it's assumed that they're off in other areas as well. It's a guess, it's not necessarily certain, but that they might be other than themselves. So, do I think she'll be back in Kuwait? No, not anytime soon. I don't. It's going to be no easier for her to lose weight in Canada than it was in Kuwait. She had everything delivered to her. Tons of fast food, a manservant, and now she needs another manservant with Peetz because she's home, because for how independent she is, she can't do shit by herself because her body's too big because she overeats all the time for years. This is not unique to Chantal. She's not a particularly bad person because she has a weight problem, I don't think. But the thumbing of nose at help that's been offered to her, when you weigh that against people who would beg and save their own money, their pennies, work third shift to come up with the money to hopefully get the kind of treatment that Chantal is annoyed that she has to wait so long for free. Perpetual victim mode. Yes, Our Lady of Perpetual Victimhood. Saint Chantal. Our Lady of Perpetual Hunger. Whew. So, and her vision's going, she won't be able to drive. Oh no, she'll be advised not to drive. That's different than not driving. I know exactly what you mean, Tex. That's what she's going to do. They're going to say not. She's going to wear sunglasses so nobody can see her eyes. Even if they were, I'm not going to let you know. How about I just get rid of the cat and I never tell anyone where I put it? Okay, tantrum. Go nuts. Hide your... Yeah. Anyway, YouTube shouldn't be such a high priority of hers. It's her main source of income. It should get most of her time and attention, I would think. Mark and I are part-timers, so, the kind of content we make, the depth of it, the editing of it, the number of days we work on it, is a little bit different. But I don't see her winning enough sympathy with any of this. The trip to the ER, no one's going to care. Maybe her new beezers who came in the last however long. But she can only gain about 1,500 before running her mouth and losing a bunch. Cuba bees had something to do with that. And then there was ditching of the beezers of another sort. The Holy Trinity, her ride or dies were gone. Why does it not ring a bell with her that the closer people get to her, the less they like her? I don't know. You guys spend 3,000 times more effort on your videos. Well, we like making videos. We'd have to. Because we're not we don't have 100,000 subscribers. God knows. I don't know what would have to go viral to get that many in that short amount of time without buying. So, hey, Gigi. Merry Christmas to you and yours. We're here. It's going to be, I think, our first Christmas in this house together. We had our first Christmas at the last place married, but we don't live there anymore. So we're going to go nice and easy breezy, I think, for Christmas this year. I think we're going to have, somebody had sent Mark some steaks, some very nice steaks. And I think I'm going to have a ribeye and we're going to make a pizza. And that's going to be Christmas. Easter, I like pizza and wings myself. So we'll see. I hope everyone, if you're celebrating a holiday, also be safe. Look after yourselves. Don't be a Chantal. Hands on the wheel. Wear your shoulder strap. With the extender if you need it. Don't make yourself a designated driver if you have a medical condition that prevents you from driving safely. That's another one too. And then how long until we hear that she has something similar to glaucoma, which is why she has to smoke, because it's for her health. She's gonna find some reason, and we'll never get to see why. Stuffed mushrooms? More cookies. We still have a bunch of cookies out. I don't know how many we have. 5 kinds to make with platters and stuff. It's crazy. You do Christmas homemade pizza. Mark's family did Christmas Eve. They make their own pizza. He was Italian. And the fishes and the 7 fishes, there's a couple Italian shops in this area where you can go to the outdoor service area and get clams, shrimp, eels, all the other stuff that goes with a after midnight mass. Go home and eat eels. Every family's different, I suppose. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up kind of around there with the Chantal stuff, and we will see. Yes, dried pineapple is unbelievable. Fresh or canned, dried pineapple is unbelievable. I was doing some dehydrating. I'm making a snack mix, and it's almonds, toasted but not salted, dried wild blueberries, and dried clementines, which you can get dried, but they want to turn to dust like that little orange skin does. But so, at any rate, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining. Everyone have a good holiday. Be safe, whether you celebrate or not. Celebrate safely if you do. Get an Uber. Don't be a dope. Nobody plans to have bad things happen. They just happen, so have a plan. And I hope Foodie Beauty's well enough until we'll see a midweek coffee break, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, just to check in. And that's all she wrote. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so kind. Feel free to subscribe. We have our email, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all listed below in the description. Thank you for coming. Another full house. It was in the high 3s, and that's a big video for us. So thank you guys for coming and participating. Thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you, lurkers. I appreciate the support. And we'll catch up with y'all very soon. All right. Say goodbye. Bye, Mark. Bye-bye. Mwah.